you very much for inviting me to your home and your home office to talk about your career because the women who are in our audience are very interested in women who are working after the age of 60 and why they continue. So tell us about your career.
So I'm one of those women. I started my career in nursing in 1971, and I started in the diploma program at St. Mike's. I went back for my degree in nursing. I have a master's in education, and I'm a certified coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been doing since 1991. I started one business and another business in 1992. So for the current work that I'm doing, I've been doing this work for nearly 27 years, which
Mm-hmm.
is quite amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm over 60. I'm 68,
Mm-hmm.
and proud, proud to
Proud.
proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know, say 5 years ago, people would say, "Well, are you planning retirement?" And
Mm-hmm.
I would say, "Well, why would I retire? I have the best of everything." First of all, I'm doing work that I love. I'm working in a practice with five individuals. There's five of us. And we design and implement career development, coaching, and mentorship programs in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And when we began our practice in 1992, we realized there were very few resources for health professionals, and in particular for nurses. And so we did some research and realized that there was an opportunity to take it beyond research to do some work. And
Mm-hmm.
it was serendipitous. We were using the Hospital for Sick Children as the site for our research.
That's in Toronto.
And that's in Toronto. And other hospitals and nurses said, "We hear what you're doing at Sick Kids. Could you come here?" And we said, "No, we're doing research." And realized at some point, Gail Donner and I, who are the partners, is that I think there's a business in this, and still are doing work that is helping individuals navigate their career. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And we made some decisions partway through that we would only work in healthcare. All of us in the practice are registered nurses. It's been an adventure. It's been great. Out of this, we've developed a model. We've had about 3 books published. We are asked to speak on the topic. We publish. Right now, we're doing some work with 2 organizations in Alberta. We're doing some work in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
And at this stage of my life and my career, you become even more selective
Right.
in what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So there's much more choice. There always has been choice. I think when the reason I went in to do my own business is that I'd have more control of my life and my destiny, and that's what this work has given me.
Now, a part of that, what you were looking for when you were younger, maybe you didn't recognize it at the time, but you have a story about actually even qualifying for the nursing program and the fact that it was an adventure just to get there.
Mm.
So, tell us a little bit about where adventure comes into your career and how it's actually helped you to shape your life.
Yeah. Well, I've just come back from a great adventure. I came back from a trip 3 weeks in Sri Lanka and the Maldives, and the work that I do has allowed me the ability to be able to go on those amazing adventures. But when I started, I think back. I was out of grade 12, and there was a notice that if you could pass an entrance exam for St. Michael's Hospital School of Nursing, then you could come and do the 3-year program. And I got on the subway. I can still see myself coming up the stairs at Shooter Street, finding the room to write the exam, wrote the exam, got passed and was accepted into a program, and it opened up an amazing world. It was work that I love. I I love nursing. I think it is an amazing profession. And what I try and instill in other individuals to see what the potential is, that there's so many opportunities. So there.
Partner actually is she still in her 60s or is she in her 70s now?
She's in her 70s.
She's in her 70s. So here's a career or a business that the two of you have built together over how many years?
So we started this business in '92. So it'll be 27. It's 27 years. We've had the same team all through that period. Again, when we just received at the end of October an amazing award called the President's Award for the Registered Practical Nurses Association. And everybody, the whole team came. And that's what, when we were thanking about the award, it was for our contribution to nursing in Canada, but it was also thanking these individuals, our three associates, who have been there for the ride. And when people say, boy, that's a long time, they believe in it. They're passionate. They're just as passionate about it as we are. And because what we're doing is we're providing tools and resources and strategies to health professionals so that they can embrace their profession, that they want to find opportunities within their profession instead of leaving.
That investment that they made to become a professional.
Exactly.
And
so well, the bulk of our work, we help organizations develop these strategies. They generally can be coined as recruitment and retention strategies. I am a certified coach, and I have my own practice for individual career coaching for health professionals. But the bulk of our work has always been helping organizations, those organizations who have identified that their staff are critical to their success, and what are some ways. And so, as you know, as a certified coach, is that coaching, mentorship, career development, they're pillars to what organizations need for growing and developing their staff. You keep people connected. Just recently, there was an article. My nephew is an engineer by profession, but also has an MBA. And there was an article, I think it was in the Globe, just how both those careers blend, and sent it on to him. Again, all you're doing is you're helping to transfer knowledge so that people are informed, that they don't say, oh, I've never heard anything about that. I think, well, we were talking, there was an article in the Globe last week that I passed on to you. I mean, especially this work that you're doing, which is so important. But it's really not over 60, it's people over 70, what keeps them still working. And for some, it's financial, but for others, it's they love what they do. So for me, it's my work is only one part of my story. I've always made taking care of myself. It's probably more important. If I don't take care of myself, then I'm never going to be able to do a good job. So I'm really focused on, my well-being. Before you came, I live close to the Y. I build that in. It's in my calendar. It's non-negotiable unless something dramatic happens. But it's so my being mentally well, physically well, those provide me with the energy to be able to do the work that I do. And I do the work, but I also am involved. I've also always been involved in volunteer work. I've really believe in giving back, and in giving back you can continue to grow. So I'm involved in 2 projects right now, which is interesting, brings me back, one of them back to where I began in nursing in '71. So I'm a volunteer with Heart House Hospice here in Brampton, Mississauga. And at the end of November took a Reiki course, so that to be able to provide that complementary therapy. So so I haven't lost what's important to me. So I'm doing that, and then with my nursing hat on, I'm a honorary a life member of the Registered Nurses Foundation of Ontario, and Gail and I, who are always
Gail's your
thinking,
partner?
Gail Donner's my
Yeah.
business partner, who are always thinking, we are working with RN Food to develop the Nurse Innovator Award. So
Oh,
there's a lot of money for scholarships, for education, but for those nurses who say, I've got a great idea, where do I go for
oh,
some
that's
seed
great.
funding?
That's
So
great.
we're in the process of doing a recruitment for what we're calling 100 Nurses Who Care, who are willing to pledge over 5 years. And we are just, out making calls,
That's
and
wonderful.
yeah, it's really amazing.
So you're really setting up your legacy for,
Exactly. So
yeah.
our work, I believe, well, I know is a legacy. Our career work, no one has touched it in the sense that there's not people have taken our work and
Mhm.
built on our work,
Mhm.
so that again helps. We just had a email from someone in Japan wanting to use one of our measures in her research. So
Wow.
what is it that we believe in, what is it that we can use, and how can we share it to help other people? It is with gratitude that I decided to go from Etobicoke to write those entrance exams at St. Mike's, and started me on an unbelievable journey. And I was doing something. I do a blog to a group of mentor coaches who have gone through our program, and I started it with my theme for this is amazing journeys begin with this first decision to go forward. And so uh,
So for you,
so for
it was
me,
a ticket on the
it, it
TTC.
it is. It was. They're going on the subway or whatever,
Yeah.
and I think that's what I'm doing. So I'm always interested in learning. So I've just
Mhm.
signed up for an art class. I have done art with watercolors and acrylics, but I love photography. How can I transfer my photographs onto different mediums? And I'm going to take a
Oh, okay.
course. So I might take it and I might decide, that's not for me, but at least I've tried it. I've
Yeah.
explored it
Yeah.
rather than not. I work with a lot of people who are in the I wish I could do this, or I can't do this because, I'm 60 or I'm 62 or whatever. And I always say, well, where did that come
Where
from?
did it?
Where
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
did those assumptions come
Yeah.
from? And so I think in the series that you're doing, hopefully shows other women that there is a community of women who anything is possible.
There's a lot of us out there.
There's a
There's
lot of us.
more than
Yeah,
people
yeah.
would think. And
Someone will say, well, are you still
are you still working?
no, they don't even, not even that, isn't even, are you still a nurse? And I
I know.
say, yeah,
You'll always be a
I'm
nurse.
I'm a registered nurse. I have just found an interesting niche for my skill and knowledge. And
Yeah.
if it came down to the fundamental, I'm an educator. I'm an educator doing designing programs, and and so we need to think of ourselves differently, embrace who we are. So it's not, no, I'm not. Yes, I am, and not, no, I'm not. But this is what I do.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, and I have no idea where the next, what the, like, I'm on a journey, and working energizes me, uh, and keeps me alive, keeps me on top of things,
Yeah.
being what's happening in the world of healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but at a point in my career and my life, we're able to either give back to the profession, give back to individuals. So who am I mentoring?
Mm-hmm.
Who am
Mm-hmm.
I coaching? Helping others with their career development and being in awe of their career paths, not so it brings me joy. And I think that's what, in the work that Gail and I and our three associates, Janice, Michelle, and Chris, is that we've provided an array of tools and resources for health professionals, and that's what makes us proud.
And so there you go, the joy of working after 60.
Exactly.
And you are actually passing on that message and leaving a legacy for others.
Exactly.
That they know that they don't end their career as a nurse or a health professional.
No.
They just they're able to tweak
it,
however, and who knows,
and whatever they want. Hey, so so some people feel, well, if I'm in a profession, what if I dabbled here or dabbled there? We say, it's your career, it's your life. How do you then make good decisions on what to do, and how you get to a point where you're happy? A lot of people are not happy, and because they see that there are no options. So it's giving people options and having conversations.
Or they think there's no options because that's the message, that's the myth they brought into, that by 60, 65, there are no options other than traditional retirement.
Right. And if I look at, so if I did, if you were interviewing me and I had said, no, we had closed the business, but it's still, I've got all these other things going on in my life. So it's a pretty, it's a really rich and full life. And as I said, it is with gratitude for those that have surrounded us to help us get to this point. So it's, I mean, it is, what is it, as we get older, it's the wise woman, it's like sort of giving back to, this is what I've learned.
Well, I understand that you have a couple of quotes that you keep close to your heart. Do you want to share one?
Well, one, it's a comical. It's not even a quote. When Gail came back from a trip, she brought me a little piece of paper. I didn't even know what it was. She said, "No, it's a washcloth." I said, "But on it was a picture of a fish, which I love, and the theme was called Be Different." And schools of fish were going one direction, and this beautiful colored fish, larger fish, was going in the different direction. So that, I have it framed. I framed the dishcloth, Be Different. The other one is, it's a quote by C.S. Lewis, which I think is really important, is that as we grow older, there's still time for new goals, and there's still time to dream new dreams. And that's it. Like, and if you're struggling with that, then surround yourself with people that they believe in that. Surround yourself with dolphins, not crabs. And, I mean, there is a lore of when one crab climbs to the top of the bucket, the others pull it back down. So what you want to do is surround yourself with dolphins, and look at how, when I was in Sri Lanka, we were out in a boat looking at masses of dolphins. What is it, the dolphins? They all go in a pack, like there's there's energy and there's support. And that's what women over 60 who, those that are entrepreneurs and are at the peak, are then, how can you help those that are still trying to who are struggling? So I always say, is that my point is, I can't help you unless you tell me what it is you want. So sometimes we are hesitant about to say what it is we want. So we need to be able to make those declarations, and to people who are willing to listen. And if we're surrounding ourselves with the people who say, I've heard it before, then you need to find a new group, or decide that you need to move on to a different goal, different dream, different vision.
That's good. Thank you very much for sharing your story and your wisdom. And I know it's going to be very inspiring to people that might be finding themselves questioning where they're going to go
Mm-hmm,
next.
mm-hmm.
And to know that, yes, there's always a possibility for your next goal. There's always time for a new dream.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you,
Mary.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia.
If you enjoyed the video today, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Check out the links below. And remember, take care of yourself, do what's best for you, and don't jeopardize what you have built for yourself.